Hello friends, this is cycle 3, week 17, and we're going to go ahead and jump right in this week and get started. I hope you pay attention and go along with me as we do each subject. Some things that I have this week, as always, I have a map for us to do geography. I have some fun toys like our masks and our stuffed animals. This week I have a magnifying glass. You might have one of those. And I have my Play-Doh again. We're going to make a boat out of this, or if you might have a boat at home that you could play with. Those are the things that I have. So let's get started. All right, this week in Timeline, I'm going to show you the cards and then we're going to sing along. We have Napoleon crowned Emperor of France, the liberation of South America, the War of 1812, the Missouri Compromise, immigrants flock to America, the Monroe Doctrine, and the Romantic period of the arts.
Napoleon
Crowned Emperor of France. Get those sounds going again.
liberation of South America, the War of 1812, the Missouri Compromise, immigrants flock
To America, the Monroe Doctrine,
romantic period of the arts.
All right, we're going to do it one more time. I'm not going to sing this time. I'm just going to let our songs do it for us, and you can sing along at home.
Napoleon crowned Emperor of France, liberation of South America, the War of 1812, the Missouri Compromise, immigrants flock to America, the Monroe Doctrine, romantic period of the arts.
Okay, remember guys to practice your timeline anytime you're at home, maybe playing or riding in the car. All right, for math, we're going to do our song, and my children are probably going to be so embarrassed, but I cannot wait. So I need to see your best dance moves. Here we go. The area of square equals length of a side squared, length of a side squared. The area of square, length of its side squared. The area of a square is length of its side squared, length of its side squared. Area of a square, length of its side squared. The area of a square equals length of a side squared, length of a side squared. Okay, this week in history, it says, tell me about the 19th Amendment. The 19th Amendment is when women got the right to vote. So let's find out about it.
Week 17. Tell me about the 19th Amendment. Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony led the women's suffrage movement in the United States, resulting in the 19th Amendment in 1920 that granted women the right to vote.
Okay, here's our song, and we've got a few fun things after this.
Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony led the women's suffrage movement in the United States, resulting in the 19th Amendment in 1920 that granted women the right to vote.
Get your snacks.
Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony led the women's suffrage movement in the United States, resulting in the 19th Amendment in 1920 that granted women the right to vote. That granted women the right to vote.
this little bag that says say it. So we're going to act out or do some things while we sing it again. So this time, the first one I got says jumping jacks. So stand up where you are, and I'm going to sing, and you're going to learn the song, and you're going to do jumping jacks the whole time that I'm singing. You ready? Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony led the women's suffrage movement in the United States, resulting in the 19th Amendment in 1920 that granted women the right to vote. I've got somebody sneaking in on me. Say hi.
Hello.
All right. Okay, sorry for the little addition to that one. All right, I've got another one for you. This time, we're going to sing it, and you're going to go find a chair or the couch or wherever you are, and I want you to put your head on a chair while I sing. Now, if your head's on a chair, you've got to be thinking really hard about this song. Here we go. You ready? Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony led the women's suffrage movement in the United States, resulting in the 19th Amendment in 1920 that granted women the right to vote. That granted the women the right to vote. All right. I've got one more, and this time, so you don't have to hear me sing, I'm going to let our song sing again. But this time, it's going to be a fun one, guys. I want you to gallop like a horse. All right? Here it goes.
Week 17. Tell me about the 19th Amendment.
I've got
Elizabeth Cady
friend
Stanton
helping me.
and Susan B. Anthony led the women's suffrage movement in the United States, resulting in the 19th Amendment in 1920 that granted women the right to vote.
All right. Everybody's galloping like a horse.
Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony led the women's suffrage movement in the United States, resulting in the 19th Amendment in 1920 that granted women the right to vote. Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony led the women's suffrage movement in the United States, resulting in the 19th Amendment in 1920 that granted women the right to vote. That granted women the right to vote. That granted women the right to vote.
Ready? Whee! Okay, guys, this week for geography, we're going to be talking about some rivers in the United States. Now, this is not all the rivers, because we're going to talk about rivers also in week 18. But this week, we're going to talk about the St. Lawrence River, the Ohio River, the Mississippi River, and that one goes all the way down, the Missouri River, and the Arkansas River. Now, our song this week sounds a little funny because it just cuts right off. But it's because we're going to add on next week's rivers to finish the song. So this week, the song goes like this. What are some rivers in the USA? St. Lawrence, Ohio, and Mississippi, Missouri, Arkansas. Da-da-da-da-da. That's next week. Okay, let's try it again. What are some rivers in the USA? St. Lawrence, Ohio, and Mississippi, Missouri, Arkansas. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, now this week I tried to get better and I made a boat this week with a sail on it. But honestly, I think it looks more like a giraffe. But we're going to pretend it's a boat, okay? So, what are some rivers in the USA? St. Lawrence, Ohio, and Mississippi, Missouri, Arkansas. Da-da-da-da-da. All right, one more. Here's our little boat. You ready? What are some rivers in the USA? St. Lawrence, Ohio, and the Mississippi, Missouri, Arkansas. Da-da-da-da-da. All right, last time. The rivers in the USA are the St. Louis River, the Ohio River, the Mississippi River, the Missouri River, and the Arkansas River. Okay, guys, with science, it's going to seem very similar to last week, but we're talking about the next 4 elements in the periodic table. So our question actually says, what are the second 4 elements in the periodic table by number, element, symbol, and mass? So the first one we have is number 5, which is boron. Okay? And boron, the number is 5, the symbol is B, and the mass is 10.811. Now, in our CC, what they ask us to remember is not the 10.881. They ask us to remember 11. Okay? So we're going to remember 11. The next one that we have is carbon. Okay? Carbon, the number is 6. The mass is 12.011. So let's use our math. What number do we think that's going to be? If you said 12, you're right. Good job. Okay? Next we have nitrogen. And nitrogen, the number is 7. The symbol is N. And the mass is 14.007. So use your brain again. What do we need to remember? 14. You've got it. All right, and the last one this week is oxygen, something we're all familiar with. And the number is 8. The symbol is O. And the mass is 15.999. Or what do you think we need to remember? You've got it, 16. You guys are awesome. Okay, now the song goes right along to the same thing last week. So here we go. You ready? What are the second 4 elements in the periodic table by number, element, symbol, and mass? Here we go. 5, boron, 11, 6, carbon, 12, 7, nitrogen, 14, and 8, oxygen, 16. Let's do it again. You ready? What are the second 4 elements in the periodic table by number, element, symbol, and mass? Here we go. 5, boron, 11, 6, carbon, 12, 7, nitrogen, 14, and 8, oxygen, 16. I think we can make that a little more fun. What do you guys think? I think I'm just going to go with my shades again. You ready? What are the second 4 elements in the periodic table by number, element, symbol, and mass? Here we go. 5, boron, 11, 6, carbon, 12, 7, nitrogen, 14, and 8, oxygen, 16. All right, one more time. You ready? 5, boron, 11, 6, carbon, 12, 7, nitrogen, 14, and 8. 8, oxygen, 16. Okay, this week in English, we're talking about the subject. So we're going to, the subject is a sentence part, and the definition is the subject is that part of a sentence about which something is being said. Now, that's a lot of words if you ask me. So let's read it one more time. The subject is that part of a sentence about which something is being said. So if I were to look, I have this little chart right here of all these animals. And I'm going to pick one. I can't even see this one, the crocodile. So the crocodile read his English sentence. So the sentence is about the crocodile. So we're going to read it like a crocodile. You ready? Get your chompers out. The subject is that part of a sentence about which something is being said. Okay? Let me see. Oh, a ballerina. Everybody get your ballerina arms up. You ready? The subject is that part of which Miss Megan messed up. Let me start over again. Ballerina. The subject is that part of a sentence about which something is being said. Okay? Now, a snake. You ready? The subject is that part of which a sentence. I am messing this one up, guys. The subject is that part of a sentence about which something is being said. Okay, let's try another one. Ooh, this is a good one, a flamingo. But guys, I can't do that because if I stand up, you're not going to see my head. So I want everybody to stand up on their one flamingo leg and say, repeat after me. You ready? The subject is that part of a sentence about which something is being said. Good job. Okay, we're going to do one more. And this one, let me see. Oh, I've got a great one. Look at this little guy. He's pretty cute. I want you to bounce like a kangaroo. You ready? And we're going to do it again where you repeat after me because I think that might help you, okay? So everybody's bouncing like a kangaroo. The subject is that part of a sentence about which something is being said. All right, before you sit down for the next one, I want everybody to jump as hard as you can 5 times. Ready? Jump. 2, 3, 4, 5. Those were some good-looking kangaroos. Okay, I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, this week in Latin, we're on John 1:4. We have 2 parts. So the first one, we're going to look at this. In ipso, and remember, instead of a v, like we normally would say, we say w. So in ipso vita erit. You say it after me. In ipso vita erit. In him was life. Your turn. Okay. The second part is, there's that V, remember? And this is going to sound a little bit different than what we might think. Et vita erat lux hominum. Your turn. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Et vita erat lux hominum. And that means, and the life was the light of men. Okay, so we're going to do, I'm going to say it, then you're going to say it. Okay, you ready? In ipso vita erat. In him was life. Et vita lux. Oh, sorry. Et vita erat lux hominum. And the life was light of men. And the life was the light of men. Okay? Let's try it one more time. We're going to do it all together. You ready? I think it's easiest if you repeat after me. So, in ipso vita erat, et vita erat lux hominum. Okay? In him was life, and the life was the light of men. Now, Miss Megan does not know Latin other than what we're learning together. So if mom or dad or someone has the app, you may want to go listen, and it helps to listen to it over and over again to hear what Latin is supposed to sound like, since it's not many of our first languages. Okay, guys, well, that wraps up this week, which was week 17. We're going to do a quick review like we always do, and I want you to sing along with me on any of the songs you remember, okay? So we first talked about timeline, and remember, you got to get your French things going on again. I guess that's French. I don't really know. Napoleon crowned Emperor of France. Liberation of South America. And the War of 1812, the Missouri Compromise. Immigrants flock to America, the Monroe Doctrine, romantic period of the arts. Okay, remember in math, we learned a song about the area of a square. The area of a square equals length of its side squared, length of its side squared. And then in history, we talked about the 19th Amendment. Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony led the women's suffrage movement in the United States, resulting in the 19th Amendment in 1920 that granted women the right to vote. That granted women the right to vote. Okay, remember in geography, our song got cut off because we're actually going to combine 17 and 18, but this week's part said, what are some rivers in the USA? St. Lawrence, Ohio, and the Mississippi, Missouri, Arkansas, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, and then in science, we talked about the second 4 elements in the periodic table: 5 boron, 11, 6 carbon, 12, 7 nitrogen, 14, and 8 oxygen, 16. Then, remember we practiced with our being different animals as the subject of our sentence. The subject is that part of a sentence about which something is being said. And then lastly, in Latin, we're on John 1:4. In ipso vita erat, in him was life, et vita erat lux hominum, and the life was the light of men. And that wraps up week 17 for us, guys. I hope you all have a great week. I hope you know that I have prayed for you and your families and that you are loved and cared for. And I hope you have fun watching this video. I'll see you next week. Bye.